This is Glenn Pendlay again with the Weightlifting Scoop, and we have Tim Rollins here, who's down here to try out for the team. And thought I'd just talk to him a little bit about what led him to this. And Tim, can you just take me through a brief description of how you came to be down here trying out for the team?
Yeah, long story short, my brother started a gym like 5 years back. And when I got out of baseball, he asked me to come on. And
okay, so before that, you were in baseball.
Yep.
And played where and for who?
I played down in Augusta, Georgia, for Augusta State University, and then I signed with the Normal Corn Belters, which is an independent team, which is pretty much like single A in Central Illinois.
So where'd you grow up?
I grew up just north of the city of Chicago in Mundelein. So
I got you. So you played with that team for, what, a year, 2 years?
Yeah, I signed with them. I went to spring training. It was kind of a jacked up situation, and I ended up getting released. So technically I didn't play the whole year. I mean, I signed a contract. I was there for 3 weeks, and then, they kind of had to release a couple people, and we were supposed to play like all these spring training games, and they got canceled, so I didn't really get a fair shot, I guess you could say.
Okay, so you went from there to working at your brother's gym?
Yep, I had to actually complete a 490-hour internship for my degree in exercise science, and it was a perfect place to do it. And I started there just kind of learning and stuff, and actually at this point I was still trying to pursue baseball, so my brother was, getting me into the lifts, saying it really helps, as far as speed and explosive power. So I started doing power cleans, doing some squats, and I went to one more tryout down in Kentucky, made the first cut, didn't get signed. And then by that point I kind of, was to the point where I was working more at the gym, and then so when I was, after that tryout, I just started working full time, and then.
So you have your degree now, though.
Yep,
you finished with that, with exercise science, and started out, and you told me you kind of were into more cleaning and squatting first and did pretty good with your cleans, and then decided because of that you might try to actually snatch and jerk the bar. So you've got a little bit bigger of a clean than you do clean and jerk or snatch. You cleaned 400 pounds.
Yes, I did. I cleaned 400 within a year of starting. I mean, didn't even really touch a snatch until probably like 8 months in. I was just getting a lot of positive feedback that, I had a good clean and, could maybe do some decent stuff in the sport. So I'm like, pretty much forced myself to start snatch. And I kind of stayed away from it because the overhead was a little bit uncomfortable for me, with my shoulders. I was a little bit tight, and just kind of learned a lot of mobility stuff to help and don't have any issues anymore.
Right. So in the sport of weightlifting, once you decided to try to actually pursue that, who have been your coaches or people that you've learned from up to this point?
Well, my brother definitely gave me my start, talked me into doing it, and he had me actually go out with his coach, Jianping Ma, who is a former Chinese Olympian who you also know. And I went out and stayed with him for about a week and learned a little bit from him, and still kind of like didn't totally interest me. I was more learning at this point because I was working at the gym. I needed to know how to teach the lifts. And I still was like kind of confused about it and this and that. And probably like right before I cleaned 400, I met Oleg Ketchko at a clinic in the city, and we kind of hit it off, and I really liked the way he coached. And, he was telling me I had a lot of potential and took me under his wing and pretty much became my personal coach. And he lives in Austin, Texas, but, we talk every day, and he would write me workouts, and kind of got to the point where I knew what to do on my own. So. I
got you. And so, I know that it was kind of a funny situation. We're holding the tryout, but you couldn't make it for the tryout because of work.
Right.
And so you're down here kind of a week early or a few days early. What have you thought so far? I mean, you've done 2 training sessions.
Right.
With another couple to go tomorrow. I think you're a little tired by this point.
Yeah.
But what are you thinking as far as the training situation and all that down here?
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's like I tell everybody, I was very passionate about baseball, but I've become even more passionate with weightlifting. And, being able, if, the opportunity arises, and that's why I'm down here, training full time would be a pretty cool thing for me. And, with my 2 training sessions, I'll tell you one thing, the guys are really cool and gave me a nice warm welcoming. And
Except for James.
Yeah. Because he was boat schooled.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But, I mean, I enjoyed it. It's the heaviest I've gone in a long time. To be honest, kind of surprised myself, which it's a good thing. I guess I still got it in the tank. But, I'm just curious to see what I could do if I was able to really just devote all my time and energy to weightlifting.
What, as far as, I kind of know how I'd answer this question, but just from you, what, so far after training twice and, we've talked a little bit and worked on positions and stuff just a little bit, what right now do you think is the one thing you have to improve the most in?
Definitely like we talked about the snatch, just kind of feeling for it rather than, flipping my wrist and letting it, get my head through a little more. Working on that I think is going to make a big difference and just getting more comfortable and confident, just kind of letting it sit in that position. And then I'd be curious, Glenn told me to try a little wider grip on the clean, to help my jerk a little bit, and kind of messed around with it today, and seems like I'm getting the bar back much better. So I'd be curious to see how much that.
You're probably not going to have to do too much on your clean anytime soon, because I haven't seen you struggle with a clean yet. They've all been pretty solid. What do you, if you had to rate yourself, like your strengths and weaknesses in weightlifting, like if you were to ask me that question, I'd say you move pretty fast for a guy your size, 105 kilo weight class, and move fast under the bar. That's a good thing. That's something that's hard to teach.
Yeah.
What do you think your strong point and weak point is at this point?
Strong point is obviously the clean. For me, the biggest thing is I've gotten so much better with the flexibility and mobility in my shoulders and hips, but I still need to work that more. Like I said with the snatch, I think the strength and the pull is there. It's kind of just the flexibility and the confidence to let it, sit behind my head a little more. And then to be honest, not being able to train as frequently as I would like. Obviously, I think improving my squatting a lot more often is gonna be huge for me too.
Yeah. So. Well, it seems like usually when, both when I've coached in other situations like Cal Strength or in Texas and here, that most people come in and very few people like improve their lifts like the first month, because they're usually a little bit, training harder more often than they're used to, and they get a little tired, and so it takes a few weeks for that to go away. So coming and training for a couple of days, twice a day, and when you're not used to doing that, or doing both lifts in each workout, which a lot of people aren't used to doing that, usually means by after, kind of the excitement of the first week or something, people start to lag a little bit until their body kind of catches up with their recovery ability. So, being a little tired is entirely normal. You like Bojangles?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was my first time there. I got to stay away from there, but
it's not what you want to eat.
Once in a while is not bad.
It's not what you want to eat every single day for lunch.
Yeah. And I appreciate you treating me. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I can't think of too much else to ask you other than to say, good luck and everything. Obviously, with most of the other people coming in at the end of the week. But I think you look pretty good so far. I mean,
Thank you.
Definitely look good, and good attitude towards training. So I wish you the best.
Thank you.